Alô a todos, sejam muito bem-vindos a mais um episódio do Talking Jazz. Encontro-me ainda em Copenhaga e hoje proponho-me entrevistar um pianista e multi-instrumentista. Ele vai aqui brevemente apresentar-se. Convosco, Horatiu Roman. That's it?
That's right.
Yeah. How are you?
Good to see you. I'm very good. It's a good sunny day in Copenhagen.
Oh.
A rare one.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
enjoying it.
Oh, okay.
And it's good to be here.
Where are you from?
I'm from Romania. And yeah, in Romanian it's Horatiu. And then I go by Horatiu Roman. And I guess you could say Horatiu
Exactly.
in
In Portuguese.
Portuguese. That's nice.
Horatiu.
Horatiu. That's
yeah,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. How long have you been here?
I've been here since 2012. I studied games, and I'm a games programmer and designer,
Yeah.
and then also a musician
You
on the
started
side.
as a player or already as a developer?
I started with my studies, and working, and different studios, and I've been making games. But music always on the side. I started when I was 10, never really professionally. So, but now getting more into it and playing at jams, and released an album or two, and doing more stuff. I will have a concert. So getting more into it because I realize it's the best. feeling to play and to share the music. Yeah.
What did you play on the piano? Are those your compositions of yours, or is it improvised music, or something you have prepared?
I played fully improvised, and has always been my dream to play just whatever comes to mind, be able to sit down at any point and just play. And this way I thought, then you can play any song, anything with anyone, and finally I feel very comfortable doing that, so that's what we heard now. And then maybe a little bit snippets of some compositions, or maybe some figures that I like to put in, but
Mostly
just what feels good in the moment. But that's the plan for my concert also, will be fully improvised. I haven't done that yet, so it's gonna be my first 1 hour improvised music concert. We'll see how it goes, but yeah.
Wow, it's challenging.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because it can go either way, right? It can be like, what the hell is this? But it can also be sublime, and it is born and dies in that moment, and if it's good, it's like you're there to see it. So
Absolutely.
I feel it's nice to be on that edge where you don't know what will happen. It's very exciting, and then if it sounds good, it's like wow,
Yeah.
so much more than when you spend a lot of time practicing, but then you only play that song.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I also compose and do other stuff, so I like everything,
Oh,
basically.
So to arrive at that level of freedom, what were your main background? What were you into in terms of music vocabulary? What make you arrive at that state of freedom?
Well, I mean, when I started, I was listening to a lot of music as a kid and adolescent. I listened to a lot of rock and stuff from my parents' influence, what they liked, 70s rock. And then whenever there was instrumental solo, I was like, man, this is so good. If only there was just music, there was just the solo.
Yeah.
And then I discovered jazz.
Oh.
So then I was very into jazz. I listened to a lot of different stuff. Usually always around the 70s. This is my favorite time zone. Yeah. So a lot of Miles Davis,
Wow.
Herbie Hancock, a lot of the great guys, and then also discovering there's live music. People are doing it now, and then you just find somebody nobody heard of, but then they play amazing. And, I love that everybody can speak through this universal language. So at first, when I was studying, we're learning songs. We learn, oh, that's the wrong note, and so on. Don't play like that. But then I realized there's more to it.
Yeah.
You can just play, and there's no wrong notes, and it's more like a feeling and what you express with it and how you understand it. If it's a wrong note, is it really a wrong note, or does it just sound a certain way that you're not familiar with, not comfortable with? Maybe it doesn't evoke the emotion that you're going for. And then understanding it in this way gave me so much more vocabulary and potential.
Wow.
You can just do whatever.
That's pretty amazing. So back then, when in your childhood, did you took like music lessons, or you are a fullest self-taught musician?
I learned after school, so twice a week I would go for some classes, and that was for about 6 years. But then from high school, that was not a thing. Either I would go only music high school, or I would study math and different things. So I chose that because you get a better job and so on.
Yeah.
And then self-taught since then. So I haven't really done courses or anything since then, but I mean, I've been learning from YouTube, from listening, from going to jams, playing with amazing musicians such as yourself at the jam, and just having fun with it, and trying to absorb from every source, and also not just from music.
Yeah.
And, I also like the stuff I learn in music I put in the rest of my life. So. But what I need to say also that I'm learning now, I'm going to a music camp.
Wow.
That's called Impro Camp. So it's only for improvising music. I've been there twice. I'm going again actually next week. And so
In Copenhagen?
it's in Fredericia, which is a town in the middle of Denmark. So I guess that's kind of my more formal stuff I've done the past few years. So, and maybe I will start taking some classes or something from some selected guys just to kind of delve into some things, if that makes sense. But we'll see what happens.
Okay.
I like the idea of classes also.
We will explore about that camp. I don't want to run forward. I'm trying to
Fair.
follow like a chronological path of your journey, musical journey. So I'd like to know when you were learning the music back then, were you already into piano, or when the music hit you on your heart, was like already you liked the sound of the piano, or you had this love for many different instruments?
I think the first experience I had with music was on a video game. On the television, there was one of these very cheap replicas of a console, and then you had a little music game composed with just a few notes. So I was showing my parents, oh look, I made this, and just having fun with this kind of thing. And then they were like, at some point, maybe you're into music. Would you like to try an instrument? And then I think there was some kind of back and forth, like, oh, you should do violin. What would you like to? So then I went, no, only piano. I only care about piano. So it was always, I think, my preferred instrument. But since then, I definitely developed a love for all sounds and all. I've also just opened my mind to. There's so much more out there. Just the voice, just noise, sound. Everything is music. Everything is art. It's connected.
So how do you use it to discover new artists, the ones that you have been following the most on your career back then?
How I discovered them?
Yeah, because these days we have like Spotify, YouTube,
Yeah.
but I guess on many
Yeah.
years ago, how did you
I
use
have
it
to
get
think about
into
that. Yeah, it's a good question. I think a lot of it is, first of all, from my parents.
Yeah.
Learning from the old records we had lying around in the house, or what they were into. So a lot of hard rock, a lot of psychedelic things, a lot of folk, Romanian folk music. Romanian folk music is more like Bob Dylan kind
Wow.
of folk music. So, because from that age of whatever 50s to the 80s, there was communism in Romania, and one way to express yourself was through music, that you could pass the censorship by coming up with clever lyrics and ways that you would say stuff but not clearly, and then they wouldn't understand. So they let it through, and then people were like, oh man, they're criticizing stuff, and it was very, very interesting. So there was a lot of that, and I picked up a lot of that. So yeah, then from in Romania, another thing is the culture of downloading torrents and things. So there was a lot of that, but the thing is, you find some amazing stuff that you just can't really find otherwise. So even though it's slightly like, well, I mean, you're copying files. It's not like you're taking and then there's nothing left. You're taking and there's more of it now. So it's on the edge of ethical, but it's really like I found so much amazing things, and with this file sharing and things, and just like talking to friends, discovering common tastes and stuff. And then YouTube, a lot of once the internet really, I mean, I was living on the internet through my growing up, and even now I'm mixing it up with radio and different sources, going to festivals and concerts and stuff. It's not through Spotify or this kind of services. Rarely, because the algorithm doesn't know. The humans know.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But,
absolutely.
there's also
and these days they force you to listen what maybe you are not very familiar, or is not maybe your first choice. But
that's fine, right? It's good
an
to open
algorithm, right?
But that's the thing. It's choosing it based on something other than you might like it.
Yeah.
It's that you might listen more, or I don't know. It's like giving you the same song over and over. Maybe I want to listen to an album of someone, but it will never suggest the full album. You have to seek that out yourself.
Yeah.
So it's changed a lot how people listen, and I still kind of go with the old ways, but I'm probably one of the last, and there will be fewer, right?
Okay, Horatiu, you are into many. You try to explore as many styles as you can, from what I see, right? So when you discovered jazz, did you say, "Oh, I have to spend some time listening to this," or it's okay, or you just say, "Oh, it's okay. Now let me move forward."
I spent a lot of time listening to. I mean, I had peers where I was really obsessed with some style and then move on to some. Yeah, I think the way I think of some early times is, like I said, listen to rock, listen to more solos and rock stuff like Pink Floyd and Deep Purple, things where it's a lot of instrumental, but a lot of guitar based, and there's more than guitar out there, but in rock not so much. So well, John Lord, organ. So that organ was one of my first things. I was trying to be an organist, and then I discovered a lot of organ in rock and stuff, and progressive and psychedelic rock. That was the next kind of step. So I was listening to all kind of these bands and what Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Yeah, this period, I mean, it escapes me now of different examples. But then, yeah, more and more jazz examples. And then starting with jazz, then I tried to discover what's the best. The best. I always wanted to hear the best. So for a while I was really believing, always the best. Always what sounded good to me was getting in closer and closer to people who play with Miles Davis.
Yeah.
To me it was really, if I liked somebody, then I would look them up. Okay, who's this guy? He was Miles Davis.
Yeah,
that's why I like
a
it.
relationship with Miles
Yeah.
Davis.
Or later also the same happened with Herbie Hancock. Anybody plays with Herbie Hancock, probably I'm gonna love it. And but then it became more complex, and I realized that's only a very small part of the story, because there's also people who just didn't really connect to those guys or to this circle, but they still make amazing stuff. And then I also, it's just people who nobody knows about them, but they're so good and so amazing and so emotional, and they hit you just the right way, and it's unrelated. So I'm very open to. I'm against the idea of the best. There's not the best.
True.
It's a wrong idea, because it's not a competition.
Yeah, it's
so
not Olympic Games, not an Olympic.
It's not
game.
Olympic Games. Yeah, to keep it topical.
So how did you manage, maybe you wanted to absorb a little bit of the jazz vocable, like the way they built their melodic lines. Did you try to copy any piano player, or you were more into listening and absorbing through the listening?
Look, in Romania, I was there until I was 18, so a lot of my early learning was really in that bubble. I didn't really have access to teachers, people who play a lot, and so on. I often say, I had the best jazz band in town. It was the only jazz band in town. But maybe it's not true, because there were some more people, but there were very few, so we didn't really know much going on. And I learned a very basic lesson very late in the process, that it's good to record yourself and listen. Think about not knowing that. I mean, it's very basic, but you record yourself, you listen, and you get so much out of that. So I recommend that to anyone. But when I was young, I didn't know, so I was looking up how do you get better? And then I read about transcribing solos, trying to learn solos. I tried a little bit, but it wasn't really for me. It's not so interesting. I'm gonna play somebody else's solo. I don't necessarily want to say that, what they were saying. Also back then in the 60s or whatever. I mean, you get a lot of technique out of it for sure, and there's many benefits. But what also hit me, I just tried from different places. Monty Alexander, he had some videos on YouTube, and in the pandemic I discovered them, and it's very nice. He talks about, he was 3 years old or whatever, he was learning to play the piano, he was doing the bass, it was like a rainstorm, and a very soft rain is up here, and the and then he was exploring the piano this way and just having fun with it, and slowly he became better at playing, and then whatever, he developed and discovered other things and so on. But this playing around culture came to me much later, but I think that's really when things started to click for me, because I love the playfulness and the exciting. Something new will happen. You don't know what you're gonna play until you play it. And yeah.
So when you are doing this improvised music, are you worrying about the present moment, the next step you're gonna take, or the final destination, or where you would like to take this improvisation?
I think about all of it in a way, but very important is the present moment and listening, trying to absorb everything, what I'm playing, what everybody else is, and also just the room and the environment and so on. This is something I learned from Impro Camp primarily, but also just slowly over time, is to be aware of the whole situation, because it's not separate. I mean, if there's an object on the piano, that's part of it. Everything is part of it. So thinking of the present moment in that way, listening, and then trying to feel to the best of my ability. I mean, of course, my vocabulary is limited, and it will always be limited, even if I become the most amazing player. But doing what feels right within my abilities technically, and what my instrument can do and everything. And also trying to say something, trying to come up with something to say. If I have nothing to say, maybe I stop playing, or maybe I keep it very playful, exploring, trying to find what is really in my head right now. Almost like a meditation, almost like questioning your own thoughts. And then usually something comes out. I mean, it never runs out.
Yeah, I've seen during your performance on the piano, suddenly we had a noise in the room, like a blender, right? Then I realized that you took it as a part of the environment and you brought it to the song. Am I right?
Exactly. I mean, how can I not? It's very loud. So, but I mean, you can go around and say you want a very controlled environment and you don't want to have any noises, any you deliver cough drops before the concert to everyone, but it's gonna happen. So depends what you want to create and how much you want to be part of the environment, or how much you want to create some kind of experience in the moment. And I think in this situation there was no other way than to embrace. We're in the cafe, opening up, they're gonna make a coffee, they're gonna bang on something, and people are gonna talk in the background, and that's okay, and that's part of it. And if I do a concert, it's probably gonna be more quiet. I can explore the softest texture. If I sit on a squeaky chair, I can try to ignore it, but the thing is, it's part of the music. So what if I find what works with the squeaky chair, and then it's gonna be a much more together experience once you put all of that together. Yeah, doesn't work with all kind of music, but with improvised music it works, and I love it.
Wow. So tell us about this one composition for each week.
Oh yeah, I'm doing weekly beats.
Yeah.
It's called. Make a song every week, and it started 2022 for me, but it's been going on for longer, and it's always a 1 year and then 1 year break, and then this is my second year doing it. So I did 52 songs 2022, and it was at the suggestion of a friend, but I managed to hear about it on the 1st of January, so I could join from the start, and it was an amazing experience because it really fit what I was doing at the moment. I was making stuff, making music, starting to record, but in this, so the rules are, I mean, it's very self-imposed, and you don't get anything except what you put into it. So the rule is you have to make minimum 1 minute of music, and it has to be original and copyright samples or whatever. And then do whatever, and then making during that week and put it on the website. And then this website is like a little community. It's very nice. There's only comments, no likes or views or anything.
Wow.
You don't know who listens or what, but you know if somebody writes, hey, nice one, or this one you could use some more low end or whatever. So it's a very nice back and forth and constructive musicians giving each other feedback, and you discover so many amazing artists I've been listening to and becoming friends with people there. It's really cool. So after I made all this stuff, my first year, I had a bunch of songs. I decided, okay, I collected some of them, put them in an album, and then in the pause year didn't do much. This year I'm doing it again, but a bit more focused. So there I'm trying to do more like funk band type thing where I put some drum, because I don't really have so many musicians I play with. Copenhagen is great though. There's a lot of musicians, but they're so good. And the full-time guys, they just go for it. They are full-time. I'm working on the side, and music is really on the side, so I haven't managed to handle that. So I do stuff alone, but you learn a lot. I have some nice monitors and a piano and a microphone, and I've been focusing on the sound. What I make should sound nice. And even if it's very simple chords, if the sound is good, you're so far ahead than if you're amazingly technically, but you didn't think about it just sounds like you're in a cave or whatever. I don't know. So intention matters there.
Who is the judge of the how good should be or is the composition?
I mean, you're the only judge. There's no judge. I mean, you can choose to let it be the audience, right? And you can choose to try to make everybody happy, but you're not gonna make everybody happy. But if you manage to find the people who are into what you like, and you make stuff that you like and they like, and play around with it, I think that's the key. And I don't know. There's so much music being made now. You'll never hear it all. Forget it. I mean, whoever you listen to, you're taking time away from others you're not listening to, and you will always miss something. So, in that sense, you just want to give people a good time with what they hear, and that's how I see it.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to say another good shout out to where I learned so much is from Millenium.
Oh,
this guy, the bass player, fantastic man. And he has a manifesto, the Millenium Art Manifesto. After each funny video, he puts on that man, very good, because it's all about don't try to be the best musician, just live it, just be you. Embrace the funny, the weird. Embrace just love what you're doing and feel it. That kind of attitude, I like that.
Wow.
So trying to build that for myself also. What do I believe in music? Live by that. So, not there yet.
So we met for the first time on a jam session.
Yeah,
at
amazing.
the Drop-In bar, right?
The Drop-In.
Yeah. What's your what do you expect when you go for a jam session? What is behind that when you leave everything? You have a lot of things to do, and you go there and meet personally other musicians and jam with.
I love the jam culture and the jamming, not only in music, also in games. Like I said, I make games, so sometimes there's game jam. You go and you make games with new people, with friends, whatever. So you have a time, you make something. But I mean, music jams are the original. So anyway, I love this idea of meet with people you maybe you've never met before, and you just play together, and it sounds good. I mean, that's when it sounds good, it's the best. Sounds good to you. If it doesn't sound good, it's still fun, and there's always something to learn. But yeah, it's an openness. You gotta go, and it's not easy. I know it's not easy. I feel comfortable with it now, but something clicked in my head that made it easier. It's still always a little bit like, can I do it? Am I ready? You know, or do I know the songs or whatever? But I'm okay now. But I've always been trying to get in, and in the early times, it was a bit tough. You go, and then everybody's so good, and I can't play. but in the end, you have to try it. It's the only way to know. Yeah. So yeah.
So when you go for a club or restaurant or a venue where you have like a jazz band, do you prepare like, oh, today I'm gonna check like Autumn Leaves, I would like to jam like Blue Bossa, like jazz blues?
I
How
I don't know
how
any
do you
songs.
go there?
I tried sometimes to plan, okay, what would if I go and they ask me, what would you like to play? I try to come up with something before. Somehow it never managed. So when we went and we met at Drop In, I would not have been ready to suggest.
Anything.
But the thing is, that was my third time at Drop In.
Okay.
I rediscovered this place. I've been, I think, twice before. Because we met after the jazz festival. But during the jazz festival, they had it every day. And I don't know if you've been, but I've been only on the last 2 days. And I was there with a friend who was like, I want to find a jam session, where is one? So I was like, well, let's look it up and I'll show you around, try to be a host, he's from out of town. So let's go to Drop In. And man, it was so cool. But then, I played, The Chicken by Jaco Pastores. And then, so I have a few that I could, suggest, or Chameleon, another good jam, very easy jam tune. Everybody knows the Hancock Chameleon. But yeah, and then there's jazz classics, jazz jams, like you said, Autumn Leaves, Fly Me to the Moon, Bye Bye Blackbird. But I'm kind of sick of these songs. I don't know. I never listen to these songs. Occasionally I hear it, but it doesn't speak to me so much. It's just the song that everybody's playing in jams. Nobody plays it in a concert much, or I don't know. It's not in the real cultural environment. It's only at the jams. So I would like to play other songs, but then again, that's also tough because the songs that I would know that I really like, that I just discovered organically, who's gonna know that? I don't know. You gotta be lucky. So it's a back and forth. For me, it's easy though. I have to say, as a piano player, if the bass player knows it, I just pick it up. It's fine. Especially if I can improvise. So I'm very proud of that moment that I managed to just sit and play along with whatever. But it's been tough to get there, but now I'm really having a lot of fun. So I'm still trying to learn though the songs, so I'm kind of more ready. Also, I like going to these jams which are a bit more open than jazz standards only, so kind of funk pop jams, because there you play also more modern music, whatever. I can't come up with a song. Maybe some Stevie Wonder, some Britney Spears stuff. Whatever is new, Michael Jackson. There's a ton of
So what you like the most on the jazz scene or the jazz community, or the whole genre of music? Like, is there anything you like the most? Like, it's the melodic lines, the harmony, the improvisation, or anything else?
I think my favorite is the moments that are closer to improvised than not, that happen. I mean, it's the closest thing we got to magic. It's when people are so in tune and sync and they play together, and you can see that they're just coming up and surprising each other, and you can see it on their face, and the audience, there's this energy. You can feel it. You can't replicate that. I mean,
it's magic.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah, it's magic.
And one of my favorite happenings was also in this vein. It was a fully improvised, groovy session. It was called the Nebula. It still happens now and then, but they changed a little bit the concept. So I think I want to start a new thing that's like that. But basically, you had the band in the middle of the venue, and the audience was around the band. And there was 2 drum sets, there was pianos, there was instruments, music, vocalists, horns, and everybody was playing there together in this circle. And there were kind of this endless groovy jam. People were coming in and out, and then everybody was grooving. And the amazing thing is, it was during the jazz festival, so I saw already 3 amazing concerts. I saw Ghost Note, speaking of Mono Neon,
Yeah.
and I saw Judith Hill.
Wow.
And then I saw a band called Athletic Progression. This Danish guys, amazing, but now they split up, I think, and they're each doing their own musical projects. I was very satisfied for the day. I was on my way home. I thought, I pop in to see this Nebula jam,
Yeah.
see what's up. And actually, I met Ghost Note outside. They
Wow.
were walking around. It's like, we're looking for the Nebula, man. Oh shit, you guys are Ghost Note. I take you to the Nebula.
Yeah.
So I took them to the Nebula. Man, it was amazing. All these bands came together. They all played in this jam. It was mind blowing. I never seen anything like it. Having so much fun. 2 drummers doing their thing, and
Yeah.
I was actually standing near the pianos. So there was a guy playing. At some point there was no piano player, and I was too chicken to. I didn't sit in that one time. Man, I felt like such a dumbass.
Yeah.
And I said I never experience that again. I will work on
Yeah.
my stuff so I can always sit when there's a chance. But anyway, next year happened again. I sat in. It was amazing. Again, different stuff. This time they included a new layer. So it's the audience, you got the band. In the middle they made a little dance floor. They invited people from a dance festival to do improvised hip-hop kind of dancing.
Yeah.
It was so nice. Fantastic. So expressive. The musicians, the dancers, they were like this.
Wow. That's super.
I can't even, I have no words. But anyway. Yeah.
So I know you have put at least an album on all digital music platforms. So aside that, do you put together a band like to play your compositions, or is it something you would like to do one day?
I'm working on it. I'm talking
Yeah.
to friends and people, meeting new people at jams and trying to figure it out. The thing is, it's a little bit a money and time thing, so we have to figure out when we're gonna do it, where we're gonna rehearse. So I don't really have this rehearsal space. I'm not there yet. I have a friend who's going to some practice rooms, and I kind of go with him sometimes. And drummers usually, I mean, they might have a place, so I go with the drummer. But that's kind of my factor right now to figure that out, the logistics of it. But I just play anytime I have a chance, and I'm working on a bunch of compositions to be ready for a full show. Because once I have that, I'll be able to say, okay, can you play on this? We're gonna have a show on this date, and we practice 3 times. We do it. It's not so hard in the end. We did it last year for my birthday. I had my birthday concert and launch of the album, my first album, Romantic. Check it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I thought, okay, I'm gonna play some songs there. You know, maybe I have a guest musician to play on one of the songs. But everybody I asked said yes.
Yeah.
Some people are very nice and
Yeah.
they want to help. So of course I had nothing to pay them. I was like, look, we do it for fun, and I don't know. We find a way at some point. But everybody was like, no, of course, yeah, let's do it. So we were 6 people on stage playing. It was really fun.
Oh, that's
So I want to prepare some material, and once I have what I feel is enough, we do kind of a band and concert. Until then, I also have this thing, the solo project, and just want to find more opportunities to play. Because for now, I have no other job or thing. I have some projects that I'm working on. I'm also looking for freelance things. We'll see, but put more time into music, because if I don't make time for it, I will really regret it later on. I think it's what brings me a lot of joy.
You have
You
to
gotta do it.
take care of the music in order to the music take care of you, right?
Nice. I like that. Yeah, absolutely. You gotta,
Find some
gotta
time
put
to.
time in it, because it gives back for sure.
I know you play a lot of instruments like guitar.
I play some
synths.
guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you still want to learn some more instruments, or you are quite good with the ones that you already have been playing?
I will always learn for sure until I'm 115 years old and I die. I don't know how, but I'm open to learn always. I'm thinking at some point I'm gonna try the sax. I think I'd be good at it, but I haven't tried it yet. I don't know. I like using the body too, and with the piano, it's not very easy to use the body because you're kind of stuck sitting down in front of the piano. So with the melodica, and I have it here with me.
Yeah, you will perform.
I play a little bit.
Yeah.
It's nice because you can get up and have a bit
yeah.
more expression and use. But and I mean with the voice, I also love the singing. I can't do really a cappella or whatever, but I typically do more compositions and things with the voice. But it's nice that it's all very connected. No matter what you say and people say, it's all part of it. So thinking about it in this way, you use your body. It goes into the music also. And music goes in, I mean, think about on a concert, everybody's sitting on their chair playing, and then in another concert, somebody gets up and then plays over here, and then there's a guy playing in the back of the room. It's such a fantastic thing that can happen. So it doesn't always have to be that way, but it all informs the feeling in the room and the music and how you experience it. So it's not only about the music, right? Of course, music is in the end everything. Very important, but yeah.
Wow. So for the young piano players, young jazz musicians, younger music lovers that want to get into music and learn the music language, whatever it's jazz, pop, or any sort of music, what advices you could give to younger people coming up?
Yeah, it's a big pressure to give advice, but I mean, I could speak forever about what you could and should and so on. I think maybe it boils down to play with it, have fun with it. Don't be afraid of the wrong notes and everything. There's no such thing. It's just like different cultures and different boxes, and you can also be outside of the box. And even in free jazz, I don't know, we haven't talked so much about free jazz, but free jazz now is a name for something that sounds a certain way, and then you play a chord and the free jazz guys will be like, a chord, that's not, we don't listen to have chords here. It's like, and then so it's more rebellious to do chords now in free jazz than it used to be to play free. So don't be afraid of anything. Mess around and try things out, and this way I think you'll learn even the hard things that sometimes you think you can only do with practice. Or like you want to play fast and then you try to learn it by playing slow. You just play fast. Just do it badly, and then at some point it'll start to connect and so on. And I don't know, don't treat it seriously. Don't life is too short. Just do it. Just go for it. Just.
Amazing.
I think that's kind of where I am right now. I don't know where I'll be in 5-10 years. Maybe I'll be like, don't listen to me back then. I was talking nonsense. Yeah.
Interesting. So there is this quote by the great Charlie Parker. He says, "Learn all the music theory, then forget all that bullshit and play."
Yeah.
Would you like to add anything on top of that?
I mean, you can basically skip the first part, to be honest. You can just go straight to the playing at this point. I mean, you can learn, and if you have the ability and the time and the opportunity, it helps for sure, and it adds a lot to have more technical skills, to be more free in your expression. Because if you cannot play a certain phrase that really is in your head, of course, then you cannot perform it, and it's nice to be able to do. But beyond that, I mean, the way I look at it, especially because I'm more of a part-time musician for now, haven't been able to really dedicate so much time every day to practice. I cannot compete, so to speak, musically in terms of technical ability with the really pros and guys who go, to people in school, and so they're practicing these classical pieces. They're insanely good. I don't think I can get there. But I have something to say also. I have my thoughts, my emotions, my expression. So that is really my voice. And I can say that also with a few chords and a few things. And then if I get there technically, I get there. But if not, there's a lot you can do. So yeah, music gives you a lot of possibilities. It's you just have to figure out where you fit and
What works for you?
yeah, and listen a lot. Listen to yourself, listen to what everybody else is doing, respond to it either by following it or by going against it or ignore it, or but think about your response and how you relate, because it's all connected. So you can't just be in your own bubble. Even if you are, that's just adding some story to your story. Yeah.
So, although you are a self-taught musician, by the beginning of this interview, you were talking about this improvisation camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, would you like to speak some more, talk a little bit more about it?
Well, it's organized by Nana P, a great sax player here in Copenhagen and Denmark. Well, and it's it's the 7th edition this year. So it's for young musicians. You go about 30 people. You split into groups, and you got an instructor who's a professional musician in this kind of improvising space. You could call it jazz, but I think jazz now has this sound. This is not necessarily that. It's everything around improvised. So, and then you have these instructors. Everybody has the group, and you learn from them. You play. You explore your vocabulary. You explore your instrument, your approach, and then you play. I mean, you play all day. You go to in the morning, have some breakfast, play.
Yeah.
Have some lunch, play. Later, there's either a listening session or a little activity, or maybe now. Then one day there's a whole band of all 30 people playing this improvised music, conducted by Nana P with her invented language called extemporize. It's very cool, and you kind of improvise based on a sign language that she's in front and giving like, okay, you play louder, you do that, follow them, you play something with new eyes. This kind of language. So very abstract language. It doesn't like not play a certain key, but play a certain way, and then the music is completely improvised but guided in this way, and it's amazing. There's no wrong notes in that either. Or there's only wrong notes. It goes both ways. And then it jams late at night, so it has everything, and it's 1 week, and it's fairly cheap. I mean, from Danish standards. I don't know. Can be expensive if you don't have it, but I don't know, whatever.
But it's
so
worth it.
Worth it, and yeah, I've been going 3 years now, and there's a bit of a cutoff when you're 35. I'm 31, so I'm gonna go for the next few years, and then we'll see. But yeah, it's lovely, and I mean, there's a lot of such things. It's really cool, also for meeting people who go there. I mean, we've made a lot of friends there, and now we're hanging out and playing, and we end up playing at the festival.
Expanding your network.
It's the best, maybe the best thing about going to music school or something like that is actually to be around these people all the time, and meeting musicians.
Get inspired of others.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're just on your own, it's actually kind of hard to progress. But when you learn from others, it's so easy, so fast. Yeah.
So thank you for your time, for sharing your wisdom, your visions of music in general. So
for listening.
Really appreciate
for inviting.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're doing this series, and I will check out your channel.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have the subtitles on, and I don't speak Portuguese.
Yeah, we will.
Only from Bossa Nova, and it's super nice.
Oh, thank you.
And hope you come back to Copenhagen.
Yeah, one day, absolutely. And hope to see you in Mozambique.
Would be amazing.
Oh.
I'd love to.
So please play some more for us.